Hi, I'm Craig Cantelmo with Staal, and today we're going to introduce you to the Staal Drag service kits that's going to allow you to enter into the Staal spool and service your drag. The Staal Drag service kit comes with 2 radial bearings, 2 round chamfered washers, 1 flat round washer, 2 octagonal washers, 4 carbon fiber washers, and your 2 rubber encapsulated seals. What we want to do is identify whether your reel is ready to use the drag kit, and it's very simple. What I want you to do is remove the spool, take a look at the seal, and if the seal has a silver ring around it, that reel is going to have to go back during service. They'll change it to a rubber encapsulated seal that will allow you to enter into the spool whenever you need to. Here's a spool that's been serviced recently that has the rubber encapsulated seal. So if your spool looks like this, you're ready to use the kit. You're only going to need 2 tools to use the drag service kit. One you could buy at any hardware store, which is a split ring tool, and you want to make sure that when you squeeze it, it spreads. The other is just a simple screwdriver, a flathead screwdriver. Now we're ready to enter into the drag. When you look at the top of the spool, you're going to see that there's a C-clip that holds this whole assembly together. That's where the split ring tool comes in. And what we're going to want to do is get the jaws inside that C-clip, and we're going to spread it out. And with your finger, you're just going to get your nail under it, and you're going to lift that C-clip right off. Okay, it spreads and comes right off. Alright, now that we've removed the C-clip, all I'm going to do is push the center out. We're going to push this hub right out. With your thumb, press in, and then lift the hub out from the back of the spool. Now what we're going to do is use the hub we just removed to remove the retaining ring from the top. Now when you do this, we're going to go in from the bottom of the spool, and we're going to slide it up and just try to catch the edge of the retainer. Now when you push on that, that's going to push the stainless steel retainer out, and in many cases it might remove the seal as well. That will allow you to remove the hub and just dump your drag stack up right out of the spool. Now you have your spool that has all the drag washers out, and the top bearing, which is the floating bearing, your seal and your retainer. And what you see at the bottom of the spool is a seal and a radial bearing that's pressed in. Now what I want you to do is stick your finger in that radial bearing and turn. If it turns freely, then you can continue on with the rest of the service. If there's any binding or you see any oxidation on that, this is a press fit bearing, so we're going to send that back and get a press fit. Okay? But if the bearing feels good, all you're going to do is take your flat screwdriver, and we're going to get it underneath that seal, and all we're going to do is turn it. And that rubber encapsulated seal comes right out. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to install a new seal, comes in the kit, and we're going to place it into the bottom of the spool where you already have your pressed bearing in. But first, we want to make sure you have some lubrication on the seal. You never put a seal in dry, so we're just going to put a little 90 weight oil on it, and then use your fingers to spread it out. And here's a little trick. You take your hub, and you make sure the writing or the letters and numbers are up, and we're just going to place that over the hub here. Okay, and we're just going to let that spread out. Now what we're going to do is remove that seal, and we're going to press it right into the bottom of the spool. Letters down, lip facing out. So the letters are going to go against the bearing. Now what we're going to do is we're going to install the stainless steel hub back into the spool. Now remember, this hub, the seal is going to run on the inside here, and it's going to take you a little time to stretch that seal over this hub. So we're going to slide it in, and then with 2 thumbs we're going to just rock it back and forth until she pops all the way in. And you could tell that it's in by spinning this gear on the bottom of the hub, and it spins freely. You'll feel a little resistance, but you'll know it's in correctly when you can spin it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to rebuild the drag. You already have your hub installed, so now let's put the washers in. And we're going to start off with the round chamfered washer. And when you're rebuilding your drag, you always want the flat surface going against the drag washer, the carbon fiber drag washer. So here's a chamfered washer, and we're going to make sure that the flat surface is facing up. The chamfered part is going to be facing the bearing at the bottom. So you just drop that in, and it's keyed. So you can always use your screwdriver to make sure she goes all the way down. From the round chamfered washer, we're then going to put a carbon fiber washer in. And we're going to just pat this down until it goes all the way to the bottom. Then we're going to take one of the two octagonal washers, and we're going to put that in next. Then we're going to take another carbon fiber washer, drop it in. Then we're going to go to a round, non-chamfered washer, flat on both sides because it's riding on two carbon fiber washers. Then we're going to go with another carbon fiber. Then we're going to go with another octagonal. Make sure she sits in the little grooves on the inside so she's nice and flat. Another carbon fiber. And then we're going to use the last round chamfered washer. The flat surface is going to go against the carbon fiber washer already in the spool, and the chamfered side is going to be facing out. And you'll see when that's done correctly, it lines up perfectly on the hub, and you'll see what I mean when you do that. Now the next step is going to be placing the floating bearing in place. So what we're going to do is just take that bearing and we're going to slide it in. And it slides right in, and that's what's going to help apply drag pressure when you tighten your drag knob. But now what we're going to do, we're going to get your retainer, which is the round silver piece that we removed, and it's keyed. It has two flats on it. So when you put it in over the hub, you're going to spin that back and forth until you find that it finds the flats. And you're going to hold the bottom of the hub, and you're just going to squeeze, and that's going to fall right into place. And you'll see the detent for the C-clip. Then we're going to take your C-clip, and we're just going to reinstall that. Catch one side, and then with your fingers, just spread that out, and it'll pop right into place. The last step is going to be to reinstall a new seal around the top. And we waited till the end because that's the easiest way to get it on there. And like I said earlier, you always want to make sure that you wet the seal so that it slides in nicely. And what we're going to do is just slide it in around that retainer, and with your thumbs, press it in. Now if it doesn't slide all the way in, you could use your flat screwdriver. Hold one edge and catch the very end. You want to be careful not to pierce the butyl seal, but that's a finished drag. Okay, people ask how often should I service my drag. That's really going to be determined by how much you fish, how many fish you catch. If you're using this for bluefin tuna, I would say service that drag every 3 months. If you're surf fishing with it, you may not surface the drag but once a year. But it's always a good idea to get in. Remember, these are polymer seals. They're going to wear. So the more you get in and change them, the better off you're going to be.